Mommy has left to go to work. And I love to play all by myself. There's a really big hole in the wall that's really scary. Sometimes I can hear creaking from in there. When I did, I heard a doggy barking. And then silence.
Welcome back to the channel, the only place that brings back childhood trauma you completely forgot about. Speaking of lasting trauma, over the last 6 months, I've been following one of the most interesting and fear-inducing analog horror series on YouTube, Dog Nightmares, a set of eerie and spine-chilling videos that are bound to paranoid you. Created by the talented Piggy Soda, it's a mashup of VHS footage, pictures, journal entries, and the most prominent component of this entire show, its use of the disturbingly creepy William Wegman dog videos. If you've never heard of this, well, you're not alone. William Wegman was a famous dog artist and photographer in the 70s and 80s, but most people were introduced to him during the 90s era of Sesame Street, where his videos of people with dogs for heads acting out normal day-to-day interactions would play in between episodes. These being the same ones we see sprinkled out throughout Dog Nightmares. It's something that is oddly nostalgic but simultaneously filled with nightmare fuel. Overall, through these different medias, a story is slowly built from the perspective of our protagonist Emily, who is dealing with the loss of her beloved dog, and all the while, a series of strange occurrences begins to appear in the form of these William Wegman tapes, and we soon begin to realize that something more sinister is going on, as she seems to be constantly stalked by what I can only describe as a dog man. And today, we're going to find out why. But first, shout out to Piggy Soda. The series itself is such a breath of fresh air amongst the many popular analog horror series that have been coming out recently, and I'm surprised it's not bigger. But one thing about the series I will say is with the videos all over the place and the clues and details hidden through journal entries and dog footage, it's really hard to pin down what's actually happening. But that's where I come in. So let's dive into the nightmare. If you've seen any of these videos, you might know that they come out a little random in the way they're posted. But starting off at the first episode gives us a good feel for the rest of what's to come. In the video called Dog Show, Emily's watching one of the Wegman videotapes while trying to look at a very shadowed picture, until Big Eyes over here pops up looking back at her. I don't think this was on our regular schedule of programming. And this isn't the only time that this entity is seen through these tapes, as it appears in other videos such as 1/4/2009, where while watching the dogs act out a scene in a diner, for a split second a glitch appears on screen where you can see the waiter looking directly at the watcher. As well as in the later video, My New Best Friend, the tape begins to outright talk sentences to Emily. We'll get back to what it says in a minute, but it's pretty clear that this is one of the ways the entity communicates with Emily. And I say only because we're just not dealing with another TV analog horror here, folks. Oh no, this thing comes to the real world fast. In both videos, Childhood Dreams and the aforementioned My New Best Friend, we catch our first glimpse of this creature in the flesh. Once outside of a window after we watch what seems to be Emily cleaning up some of her old drawings, and we get him front and center in a memory scene where he pops out of a hidden spot in her wall. This memory scene is one of the most bone-chilling parts in the entire franchise. We watch as what seems to be a young Emily around 7 or 8 read off her old drawing book about her encounter with the dog man, where one day when going up the stairs in her old house, she hears barking coming out of the spooky hole in the wall. After being intrigued by the barking, she decided to investigate and finds this. Well, that's a one-way ticket to the beautiful farm up north if I'd say so. Wait, what? Yes, Emily befriends the dog man in a turn of events. Yeah, I think when your parents said make more friends, they didn't mean this. But that raises some questions, like why is it after her in the present time? It seems like once a friend, always a friend doesn't really apply here, because we clearly see an older Emily frightened of the creature in her aforementioned Childhood Dreams video, and it's presented like she doesn't even remember drawing it, let alone meeting the creature. But let's hold those worries off for a second and continue on. Throughout the same episode, My New Best Friend, we get the first look at Emily's journal entries, and these are the main ways that information is told to the viewer in the present time. We learn how Emily's dog Bailey had run away while Emily was out, and she has been searching for her ever since. And it's been a long time looking. The earliest journal entry we have is dated October 9, 2008, and it's of her mom telling Emily to give up hope looking for Bailey. But Emily is resilient, still looking for her dog in March of 2009. Almost 6 months and still no sign of her. I'm sorry to break it to you, sweetie, but how about a goldfish instead? They can't run away. While this is all happening, we learn that Emily is also actively looking for these VHS William Wegman tapes to burn them all together on a one CD and make some sort of huge montage video. She's even gifted one from an anonymous friend, along with a Wegman dog postcard. Too bad we can't read what's inside because I guess this was the time potatoes were used for cameras. But I have worries about who this friend might actually be, because her friend wants her to record herself opening the present, which is a little strange, but the tape that she gets gifted is titled The Hardly Boys. It's the same tape we see talking to Emily at the end of the episode. And I know this because I watched that tape myself while researching for this video, meaning that this tape is corrupted because it wasn't talking back to me when I was watching it. Along with this, Emily goes through a photo album she recently finished for her friend to see, and oddly enough, this album first has a picture of her stairs on the cover, which is just the worst choice for a family photo album. Anyways, as she goes through this album, she tends to stop and make note of her stairs, almost to signify that the friend watching has some connection with Emily through these stairs, or at least has some significance with them, and that's very telling. Because does that mean someone else knows about the dog man? Or is it that the friend that Emily is talking to is none other than her best friend, the dog man? Using these tapes to gain more control of Emily and influence her decisions and thoughts when she watches, but also possibly even possessing her. And with this information, more details start to piece together, such as the weird back and forth Emily seems to have with another person in her journal when asking about seeing an old drawing book she made as a child. She replies in a much more menacing tone and even handwriting, stating, "Would you like to look? We can look at them together," before showing this creepy drawing of Bailey with her head turned all the way around, with the words "You won't be alone" at the top right. And not only that, but I believe the spirit of this hybrid man creature lives within these tapes. That's how it first got in Emily's house when she watched it as a child. And I found this out when digging through Piggy Soda's Twitter. I came across this image of Emily's old house that is shown throughout old family photos, and would you look at what's playing in the left corner on the TV? A William Wegman video. And I believe the more she watches these tapes, the stronger a hold he has over her. When watching the Harley Boys tape at the end of this episode, some hidden words can be heard through all the static, saying, "Your dog is still out there. You think I killed the dog, but he's still out there."
Only your dog is still out there. Can you think? Oh, the dog is still out there.
Referring to Emily, beginning to suspect that her friend may be the reason for her missing Bailey. And I would back that hunch 100%. But something that also caught my eye is during the end of the tape, the TV begins to flicker off and on, almost in a hypnotic state as the dog begins to move. Could that just be a cool effect for the video, or is it something more? Is it possibly putting her in some kind of trance? It's clear that the dogman wants Emily to continue looking for her dog and seems to be some sort of trap. And we know this for a fact thanks to the third episode in the series, Bite, that shows a fisherman Wegman dog that oddly resembles our red flanneled villain, talking about choosing the perfect bait to get a fish, before switching to Bailey's missing poster sign. Bailey is the bait to get to Emily. And we actually see this plan play out in the latest video, What Are You Afraid Of?, when the dogman stalks Emily and tries to lure her outside with dog barking, again playing with Emily's mind. Luckily, she sees through this and hides away, noting that's not her Bailey. Is anyone else creeped out by now, or is it just me? So now that we know what's going on in the series, there's still one lingering question. What does the creature want with Emily? Well, I truly do believe, as corny as it is, that it's the power of friendship. No, but seriously, Emily seemingly is one of the few people that actually enjoyed watching these tapes. If you look through the comments of any Dog Nightmares video, you will see hundreds of people who were scared and traumatized from seeing these as children. But Emily was different. She not only watches, but collects the tapes. Although it's possibly due to the dogman's control, but we clearly see her befriend him, possibly due to his resemblance of the TV dogs she enjoys watching. And it's clear that he does not like the relationship that Bailey and Emily have grown. So he wants to once again be close with her, and seems to be doing so by trying to impersonate Bailey. But the thing is, he's not the true version. He's a fake, and that's why he's so distorted whenever we see him pretending to be Bailey. Also alluding to why he can't outright kidnap Emily when he has the ability to get very close to her. Looking back on that line that he speaks from the TV, "You think I killed the dog, but he's still out there." That line of course is still pushing her to look for Bailey, but also diverts the blame away from him. As if she sees him as a threat, then it could possibly be the end for whatever plans he has cooking up. So let's get a quick recap so we can see where we're at. Emily as a child watched these William Wegman dog tapes and encountered the dogman himself. They became friends, and over time, their relationship soured, or at least separated. As Emily got a new pet and best friend in Bailey, the dogman was left without his friend. Now we don't know what his intentions are with Emily or what he is planning, but he is messing with Emily's brain using tapes, taking down her dog posters, and even talking to her through this journal to get in her mind and get her back to him. Now I know we covered a lot, but there's still so much stuff that I really don't have enough information to make sense of. One major thing in particular being the photo she is seen holding in the first video, and is a recurring element throughout the series. It's a photo of two people with the words "He's still out there" written on the bottom. It seems to be very important to the overall story, but I honestly have no clue what it's referring to. I thought maybe Bailey wasn't really a dog and instead it's whoever this guy is, but that really wouldn't make sense with all the full photos and paintings of Bailey as a dog. Hey, who knows? When more episodes come out, maybe I just might have to revisit the series. But maybe I look too deep on this one. Or I'm not looking deep enough compared to this other video on how Deadpool will lead the Avengers in Deadpool 3. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.